As mentioned earlier, we are taking you to the annual WUZHEN Theater Festival that is currently in full swing. Dubbed as the Venice of the East, it's where directors, performers, and drama fans are gathering. Due to a coronavirus pandemic, last year's event was postponed, which means that the enthusiasm is heightened this time around.
It's an ongoing atmosphere of fantasy here in China's Venice of the East. 23 special selected dramas are being staged, while 18 groups of emerging artists are competing. Over 60 plays will be performed during the 10-day festival. That's really gonna be a big feast for the drama fans.
本身乌镇戏剧节本身
The WUZHEN Theater Festival itself is an ongoing play, so every element, everyone, including the audience, performers, directors, and even passers-by, everything is a scene and therefore part of the play.
都是一道风景。
Walking around WUZHEN is like walking backstage. Wherever we go, there's theater, and that means you get to know how a play is born and grows. It's really a beautiful thing.
First held in 2013, the annual event has transformed the ancient town into a place of pilgrimage for drama lovers. WUZHEN, a town of just about 50,000 residents, has a staggering 12 theaters. Some modern, but some are smaller like this, with traditional Chinese architecture. But even this many theaters cannot satisfy the audience and their growing demands.
It's so hard to buy a ticket. The festival was suspended last year, so it's making people even more eager to attend. You can see that from the ticket sales.
For those without a ticket, street performances can offer a small yet close look at a fantasy world within. 何薇薇 CGTN, WUZHEN, Zhejiang Province.
And there's a reason why my co-host Julian WUZHEN is not in the studio with me. He is live at the WUZHEN Theater Festival now. Let's connect with him. Julian, the red carpet is rolled out to welcome all the theatrical stars. Update us with the glitz and glam of the event.
Hi, Louise. I just want to start off by saying that I really wish that I could have unveiled the new show with you in Beijing. But the moment that I landed in WUZHEN, I knew this was the right place to celebrate the launch of our new show, The Vibe. Because of the pandemic last year, the WUZHEN Theater Festival is cancelled. But this year, domestic plays and talents are front and center for the 8th edition. Now, these people are just vibrant, they're virtuous, they're visionary, and they are variegated, just simply sending all the right positive vibes. Now, in terms of visitors, last night at 11 p.m., there was this long queue outside one of the theaters, and these are people simply hoping to get on the wait list of one of the sold-out performances. To help you better appreciate how all this is being made possible, I want to bring in an old friend, a mentor, festival director, and co-founder of the WUZHEN Theater Festival. Stan, welcome.
Hi, Julian. It's always great to be on your show. Thank you for having us every year.
It's always good to have you back, Stan. I am simply amazed by how the WUZHEN Theater has done this. It's simply unparalleled, even on a global scale.
Wow.
But tell us, how has WUZHEN managed to do this in this post-pandemic world?
Well, it certainly hasn't been easy because if you think about how we have to pre-plan a festival, which is about a year and ahead, which is already pretty late, we have to, this year in particular, because of the pandemic, we needed to figure out a cutoff date to say, okay, sorry, we're not going to have any international shows because they're just thinking a year ahead. Will these people be able to get visas? Well, what is the whole situation with vaccination, et cetera, et cetera? So we made a decision around Chinese New Year. Sorry, no international shows, but we did hope that we could get the best of the domestic shows together here in WUZHEN this year.
And the specially invited plays,
yes,
they are a departure from what we've seen before. Tell us more about that.
Yes, because it's an all Chinese lineup this year. So we've been curating the most interesting works we can find, and we didn't really mean to do this, but it turned out that women directors are really in the forefront this time. So there's in fact more women directors than males this year at the festival. And I think that really tells something about the development of Chinese theater, which we hope this year we would be able to showcase. Now it's our eighth installment. From the first installment where there wasn't that much new creative work in theater, now we had our pick of so many things, so many different things to bring to the festival. So I think it's a time for our audience to, with us, sort of take a gauge. How are we doing? How is the creative life of the theater in China? You know, I think this, if you come to the festival this year, you will see an all-Chinese program. It's very special.
And in terms of being special, what has changed? What is special this year for you?
For me, well, you know, because last year we weren't able to do the festival. Huang Lei, also one of the founders of the festival, had an incredible idea to do this variety show, which everyone thought before when we were shooting it, no, this isn't going to work, but turned out to be a big hit on the internet called Theater for Living.
Theater for Living.
And we brought in many of the winners from the Emerging Theater Artists Competition in WUZHEN, and many of our friends, and they together created new works in WUZHEN. So I was still in contact with WUZHEN last year because I was part of that show. And we did some beautiful, incredible works together, they did. And we've brought them to the festival too. And so they're here. They've already become sort of mini stars because of the variety show. And I think that's great because theater is always, you know, theater is not your normal popular thing, not like television or film. You know, it's always been more sort of a, you know, elite sort of thing.
I'm just curious though, that Theater for Living, the reality TV show, would you call that theater too?
Would I call that theater?
Yeah.
Yes, definitely, because they're working in the WUZHEN theaters. All of the theaters were open to them to choose where they wanted to work. And in fact, it's a challenge to film those and then show them for a television audience. So they're definitely basically theater works. Now, whether you call the whole show theater or not, that is something else to talk about.
I want to talk about your play, Ago, which is being featured at this year's WUZHEN Theater Festival. It's also your 40th play.
Yes, yeah.
Now, in trying to break through, you're also revisiting the theme of fate. What is the power that fate holds over us, or vice versa?
Well, I can't say I'm an authority on that at all, but I do have some interesting ways of looking at it in this, again, a super long play. It's 5.5 hours ago. In it, I guess I let sort of my imagination really run free. At my age, I think I'm able to do that. I'm qualified to do that. So I have a lot of characters who aren't really people per se in the play. Like there are animals, there's a guy who can talk to animals, and then there are concepts who are characters like time and chance. And chance is more perhaps, what is fate? Fate is time plus chance, you know, perhaps, you know, this is something, an equation I'm just thinking of off the top of my head. But these time and chance keep walking around the audience, walking around. You see them, who are these people? And then at fateful moments, they appear. And they do also talk to the characters and explain what their roles are, how they work, you know. So that's part of the play.
I'm scratching my head right here. And Stan, today is the launch of our new show, The Vibe.
Yes.
Do you have any words of wishes for the show?
Wonderful wishes for you. Thank you for opening it in WUZHEN, and I already feel the good vibes.
Thank you very much, Stan. We also hope that, you know, through these plays, we are not only showing the burgeoning of humanity in China, in the world, but also incubating more momentum for the future. Now, Louisa, back to you.
And thank you so much, Julian, for giving us the latest update live from WUZHEN.